Let's talk about what is professional today. We can flip the script by getting
Professional does not have shape, does not have limits. I've been a janitor, I've been a designer, I've been an executive.
Creating my own seat at the table was doing things different than how it's ever been done before.
It's just like an ebb and a flow. Dad life, work life.
It's all life. There's work and there's what works for you.
Professional is you, professional is us.
It's ours to define.
Good morning, Africa! Wherever you're watching from, Zambia, Botswana, Malawi, Angola, Nigeria, Kenya, or even South Africa, good morning to you, whether you're watching from South, Central, Eastern Europe. Welcome to the show as we talk about today how to elevate your hiring game by looking at LinkedIn's new recruiter platform. Welcome to the show. And of course, as we always do before we get started on the show, we introduce ourselves. So if you are watching, tell me where you're watching from so that I can shout out your city, your town as I introduce myself. So welcome to this LinkedIn live stream where we're going to be talking about elevating your recruiting game in 2024. But before we get started, like I said, let me introduce myself. For those of you who have never watched a live stream with me, my name is Stuart Samkange, originally from Zimbabwe and currently working out of Dublin, Ireland, and live streaming to you around the world. At LinkedIn, I have the opportunity and the pleasure to work with our higher educational institutions, helping them plan, track, brand, and hire talent into their organization, as well as helping, of course, our students become employable once they graduate. But today, it's not about students. It's not just exclusively about higher education. Today, we'll be talking to you as, of course, talent professionals. Those of you who are in the recruiting space, in the sourcing space, those of you who are hiring managers, how can you elevate your hiring game? How can you do more with less when it comes to recruitment going forward? So we'll be looking at some of the top predictions around recruitment, what is changing, what has LinkedIn done on its platform to help you find the talent that you need in your organization. So as we get started, my guest speaker for today, I want to, of course, pose a question for the day. What do you believe is going to be the number one trend to impact recruitment going forward? We believe we'll have an answer for you as we get to the end of the show. But in the comments section, as you start telling me where you're watching from, in the comment section, start telling me what you believe will be the biggest trend to impact recruitment going forward. With that being said, folks, of course, today is about elevating your recruiting game, and I'm not doing this alone. I've decided to bring in a subject matter expert to help me with this. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are watching online and watching us live, of course, some of you will get to watch this in real time afterwards. But those of you who are watching live, you know how we do this on LinkedIn. There's a simple way to show love, to show energy, and to get us going. Help me please welcome by hitting your like button, by hitting, of course, your hands clapping, your hearts button. Help me welcome our subject matter expert, Dimitra, who's going to be helping me with today's discussion. Dimitra, welcome to this LinkedIn live stream.
Hello, Stuart. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm feeling great. I'm really excited about this live. Thank you for introducing me to the stage. So I'll also introduce myself. My name is Dimitra Baba. I'm from Greece. I'm a customer success manager here at LinkedIn, and I'm partnering very closely with hiring managers, talent acquisition teams, recruiters, and helping them reach their goals. And of course, as you said, it's all about creating opportunities and creating this economic opportunity for everyone in the world. So helping graduates is also our goal. So welcome everyone. And I also hope by the end of this session to find out what's the top skills we need, what's the future of recruiting, and how can we elevate our recruitment in 2024.
Superb. Welcome to the show. Wow, that's a mouthful. Excellent. I got to gather that you get to work, of course, with recruiters, hiring managers, which makes you a subject matter expert. And of course, from a LinkedIn perspective, you are our talent solutions customer success manager. So thank you and welcome. Tell us one thing about yourself that you think our audience should know that's not on your LinkedIn profile.
That's an interesting question, Stuart. Thank you so much. So I'm very passionate about having also hobbies outside of work. So I'm recently on what I call on my sourdough journey. I've created my own sourdough and I'm baking bread. My home is transformed to a mini bakery and I'm baking every day. So that's something you won't find on my LinkedIn profile, but I do believe in work-life balance. And we'll also talk about this in the coming slides. So yeah, definitely.
Looking for you. Well, what's not on my LinkedIn profile? Geez, I share quite a lot on my LinkedIn profile. But since you decided to go with the culinary side of things, probably the fact that I'm an avid farmer, you know, so before we get into the kitchen, I'm trying to grow my own food. Summer is on, it's springtime in Europe. So I'm trying to take advantage of the little sun we get to grow my own food and have something interesting for the table in the kitchen. So that's what's coming up.
Wow, that's amazing.
All right, so let's not waste any time. We did promise people today that we're going to help them elevate their recruiting game. And in order to elevate their recruiting game, you and I decided that we are going to focus this conversation around 6 areas that are helping recruiters elevate their game, hire more people, and of course, hire more people at scale at better quality. So how do we do that? We get started immediately by, of course, acknowledging the people that have joined online. We've got a couple of people. Help me just say good morning, and then we'll get started on the predictions. A couple of people joining in with identities hidden and shown. Hello, Michael, and thank you for joining us. Help me, please say good morning to some of these people.
Hello, Barbara.
Hello,
Hello, Evie.
Yeah, we got people joining from everywhere. And folks, the reason why I'm bringing you up on screen and showing you who's joining us is that as you join, as you get up on screen, as you put your names up, that's how we're going to be fielding the questions that you have for us. But let's get started. We said we'll be focusing on 6 areas and 6 predictions. And for those of you who can't join us right until the end, just know that we are going to be providing the playbook, the document that we're using to actually have this live stream discussion with you. So if you stay until the end of this, there'll be a QR code where you can scan and you'll get access to this document, as well as finding out how you can book an appointment with us so we can talk specifically about your recruiting needs and how LinkedIn can assist you. So stay in touch right until the end. You'll get a QR code, you get this document and a link on how we can get together, as well as other documentation that will help you thrive as a recruiter going forward. But enough about that. Let's start off with our very first prediction. The one topic everyone is talking about is AI. And of course, like we are seeing from the headline here, AI will supercharge recruiting. Let us go over to Dimitra and find out a little bit more about how AI is going to supercharge recruiting going forward. Tell us more.
Thank you, Stuart. So absolutely, AI is the hot topic of the year. And actually, since last year that we had the first launch of chatbots available to the public. So we are saying that generative AI is going to help productivity, it's going to boost productivity. How it's going to do that? By minimizing admin tasks. It's everything we've all been expecting, minimizing admin tasks, writing job descriptions faster, more efficiently. Sometimes even you might be writing an email, even asking AI to fix your tone, make it more professional, make it shorter. AI is there to help you, and it's almost working as your personal assistant. And we'll see also the updates on our platform and how this can help you. But you can see here a breakdown. For example, it can automate tasks. It can help you remove also all those mundane tasks. So generative AI is a powerful tool, and it's also about bringing inclusivity there, because not everyone would have a personal assistant a couple of years ago, but now with AI, we do have that possibility.
Super. So it's coming in to assist recruiters to do their jobs more efficiently. I think we have some tips here that we can share with people immediately on how they can start their journey of leveraging generative AI. What would you say is your top tip in leveraging generative AI going forward for the recruiting teams?
My top tip is experimenting with AI. So definitely encouraging your recruiters to experiment with it. I know it can be intimidating at first. Some people don't trust also the results of AI. It's all about using it, and also bearing in mind, the more you feed into it, the more AI learns from you, the more adapted it will be to your style. And of course, using it responsibly. Never reveal any private data, any sensitive data from the company. Just remember, some of these chatbots are also open source, so not revealing some sensitive data from the company, that's also really important. And staying on top of the legal landscape. We had recently in March the EU Act. More and more countries are getting on the game, providing laws around AI. So staying on top of these, and of course the laws and regulations of your own company is really, really important. But still, I know that brings a serious touch to it, but still we have to experiment with it and make it work for us.
Definitely. Of course, let's start experimenting with it, but let's stay above the law by knowing what are the regulations in place to govern us as we start playing with artificial intelligence in doing our jobs better as recruiters. Now, let's bring this to life. I wanted to bring up 5 screens, and for you, Dimitra, to educate our watching audience on what's changed on the LinkedIn Recruiter tool in terms of these 5 capabilities and how it elevates the way they do their jobs. Let's first start off by looking at how AI is enabling projects and, of course, our searching.
So I did mention earlier, it's like having your own personal assistant, and that's what it's all about. So recruiters get the chance to minimize all these mundane tasks, but also get a head start and get some hints and tips. So AI-assisted projects and search will help you in the same way a chatbot would. So you can type in natural language, for example, I'm looking for a software engineer in Kenya, and that's going to create the search for you. And not just that, it's also going to give you tips. If your search is too narrow, it's going to help you expand it. If it's too, let's say, broad, it can help you narrow it down. And it can also give you tips for how to find a better match and really uncover that hidden talent. So artificial intelligence is there to help you. It's there to be your assistant. And that's the first thing we have on the platform.
I like the fact that you can use natural language there. So what that means is, of course, we can actually democratize the recruitment role, moving just beyond dedicated talent professionals to even hiring managers using natural language as a hiring manager to look for some of that talent that our talent acquisition team has helped us find in the past. All right, so let's move forward in terms of looking for people. And sometimes we lose in the organization talent that we don't want to lose. How can we leverage the new recruiter platform to identify regrettable talent that's left us, similar talent?
Absolutely. So you touched a really important point, losing talent. We've seen, the great resignation in the past, things like that. People leaving organizations trying for something different. And sometimes organizations really are trying to replace someone with a similar profile. And in that search, you can easily get lost. So now we are launching similar candidate profiles. So let's say I really like Stuart and I want to build a department full of Stuarts. Now I'll get the chance to pull Stuart's profile and find 25 similar profiles. That's going to help you hire more confidently and really be sure that you're finding those right skills. Of course, everyone's unique. So we're talking about similar profiles. You'll never find the same exact person, but it really will help you search more efficiently.
Well, definitely people agree with the fact that you need to find more amazing people like Stuart.
Absolutely.
Just some feedback coming in from people watching from around the world, from Colombia, from Dublin, from Nigeria, from Brazil, and even from your home country, watching from Greece. Keep those comments coming, folks. Of course, if you see anything that you want a little bit more information on, definitely ask us so we can zoom in. But we're still going through the first prediction, which is how AI is supercharging the world of recruitment. Let's talk now about how AI is helping us when it comes to understanding candidates and the candidates that are most likely to apply for the roles that we have. What is AI doing in that space, and what has LinkedIn done to assist us as recruiters?
Absolutely. So we also talked about minimizing tasks and making our work more efficient. So recruiters will find the likelihood of interest a very powerful tool in Recruiter at the moment. It's picking AI is basically picking a lot of touch points to find your best match, and it will show you high likelihood of interest, moderate likelihood of interest, and low likelihood of interest, so you know who to contact. So it's not just about finding the perfect match or finding a person that matches those skills we're looking for. It's about finding a person that would be open to work, maybe open to that opportunity, or engage with our brand, our company. So that also helps you understand how employer branding is so important about, engaging all those people, gaining them as followers, and then trying to reach out. So these people will be appearing in your recruiter with high likelihood of interest, so you know who to contact.
Who to contact and who to reach out to. And speaking of reaching out, one of the things that's always been a challenge for recruiters is, how do I word this? How do I make it personal? How do I ensure that in a very short paragraph, I engage that candidate so that they have a positive response in terms of applying for my roles or being open to talk about the roles that we have? How is LinkedIn assisting recruiters with messaging, especially passive candidates?
Absolutely, Stuart. So let's say we have found our similar profile to Stuart, and then we saw its highly likelihood of interest, and we decide to send a message. That could be a very tedious task, and as you said, it could take too long to write the right template. Now we have AI-assisted messaging. AI is picking information from your profile as a recruiter, from the job post, from the post of the candidate, and it constructs a very personalized, drafted message, which you can edit out if you don't like some parts, of course, and then you can send in 2 seconds. Really, it's magical how fast this can be done, and you can keep drafting the message until you get a response you like.
I love that. So now, as a recruiter, I can reach out at scale at passive candidates. And of course, AI is going to help me lift from their resume, or at least from their LinkedIn profiles, a little bit about that individual and personalize that message for me, still give me the ability to edit it and send these off at scale. Wow, love that. Very efficient. And of course, it's going to help us all do our jobs a lot better. I see already some positive remarks there coming in terms of some of these benefits that you're sharing. So keep on sharing, Dimitra. People are loving, of course, what you're sharing and some of these updates.
Thank you, Stuart. Last point on the updates is automated follow-ups. So automated follow-ups, again, it's minimizing the tasks for recruiters. It's going to make recruiters' lives easier. So remember all the times you had to go back to your pipeline and see, who did I contact? Who has come back to me? I need to reach out to people again. So automated follow-ups will help you send an automatic email to those people that didn't respond to your initial email. So for example, hello Stuart, for example, have you seen my previous message? Are you still interested in the role? And it's going to help you really streamline those tasks and minimize all those admin tasks, really. Now, of course, in the case that person replies, this automated follow-up won't be fired, so it really helps you plan ahead.
Superb. So, in terms of follow ups, I won't miss a beat right now because the technology is going to help me with that. Now, let's shift over to prediction number two. In terms of recruitment going forward, we keep hearing that it's going to be skills based, and particularly in, of course, the economies that we cover, which are Central Eastern Europe, Southern Eastern Europe, and Africa. Of course, unemployment tends to be quite high. So, our recruiters are looking beyond just degrees and are beginning to look at behavioral intelligence skills, soft skills, and essential hard skills. What are you hearing around skills based hiring? And of course, what LinkedIn is doing in this space?
Absolutely, Stuart. You said it. Skills-based hiring is also another hot topic right now, and that's so important not just for recruiters but also for any graduates. I don't know if we have any graduates on the call or anyone in the job-seeking market at the moment looking for a job. This is important for everyone. We're shifting towards the skills-based hiring. So the question is not anymore about where did you study, where did you work before. It's about, do you have the skills and the motivation to do the job? And I'm very happy for this because we've been talking in LinkedIn about creating opportunity for everybody in the world, and this is going to create opportunities because we're focusing more on the skills the candidates have nowadays, and we do this in Recruiter with keyword searching, and we do this in the recruitment talks that we're having with recruiters. They are searching for more quality hires based on their skills.
Definitely. So internally, what we need to do, of course, as talent acquisition professionals, we need to advocate and build a case for skills-based hiring and a shift in terms of how we go about recruiting as organizations. And speaking about a shift and the need for us to be focusing on hiring for skills as recruiters ourselves, we need to ensure that we're future proofing ourselves. And here we are with the 2024 top skills required for recruiters. I would point out here in terms of top skills that have not been there traditionally before for our recruiting community is for you to invest more in your human skills, such as your communication skills, your selling skills, as well as your customer service skills. Because, of course, the candidates these days have choice on where they choose to work. So these are the top skills. And of course, we encourage you as talent acquisition professionals to always make time for learning as you go about recruiting people based on skills. Let's move over to our prediction number 3, which is, of course, understanding the need for us to focus on what really matters in recruitment. And in recruitment, we've been measured on several things in the past in terms of how fast we can hire talent. But I think more and more the shift is moving towards, of course, quality of hire. What are you hearing around quality of hire and how this is becoming important and how we're measuring going forward?
So, Stuart, quality of hiring is notoriously difficult to track and measure. And it's really something that organizations and employers need to first determine. What is quality hire in their organization? Every organization measures quality in their own metrics. They have their own KPI. So it's so important having that clarity. So when you are hiring someone, having those clear deliverables, what are you expecting from them? So that's the first stage. And then we do see how to measure this: job performance, team fit, culture add, productivity. But also to measure that, it also needs to be clear from the first touch point, from the moment we get in touch with the candidate. Is it clear to them what would be the culture within the organization? Is our employer branding strong? Do we really show what it would be like working in the organization? So it really starts from within. And for us to hire quality hires, we need to have a very strong culture and very strong branding showing that culture out there.
Superb. Wow. Geez, we're already pacing through some of these predictions that we have today. And of course, if you're only just joining us today, of course, we're focusing on how LinkedIn is helping you elevate your hiring game by introducing new capabilities into the LinkedIn Recruiter platform that will help you work at scale. And of course, right at the beginning of this live stream, we did ask the question is, what do you think is going to be the biggest trend that will impact recruitment going forward? And so far, we've covered some of these things, such as the ability for you, of course, to leverage AI in the way that you go about recruiting, to go about recruiting by focusing on skills in terms of reaching out to people. What else have we focused on, Dimitra, that will be of interest for those who are just catching up with us right now?
So definitely AI will supercharge recruiting. It's revolutionizing the way we do things, quality of hire, skills-based hiring. All of these are hot topics at the moment, and it's our predictions for 2024. So yeah, I think we've covered this.
Definitely. And now we want to move on to, we've moved through the first three predictions. Let's move on to the next prediction, which is, of course, how we go about leveraging quality of hire and improving it. So internally, like we said, you want to focus on changing your processes and ensuring that you become more objective and evidence-based when it comes to recruiting of talent and measuring the quality of hire coming into your organization. Now let's move on to prediction number 4, which is looking at agility. We spoke, of course, about the top 10 skills that are required in order for one to be a world-class recruiter. The number one skill for 2023, of course, coming into 2024, is agility. So let's talk about agility and adaptability by understanding what the trends are from Dimitra as we have this conversation. What are other talent professionals saying in this space?
So it's all about future-proofing recruiting teams and every team, honestly. So we saw that the top skill for 2023 was adaptability, and agility is very close to that. So we come from an era, as we call it, the COVID era, 2020. It's been 4 years since then, and we had to change the way we do things. A lot of people in big companies, smaller companies, all the landscape, you had to wear many hats. You had to take different roles to make things work. And it's all about having that agile mindset. And we've had teams, agile working is not new for programmers, anyone in computer science. They do work in scrums, they do work in increments. So it's all about focusing on that image, focusing on the immediate goals and how that's going to benefit the bigger picture, and not being afraid to wear a different hat if you have to, just being agile and really trying to see what's the bigger goal. So for recruitment teams, my advice would be just being agile, understanding, okay, I need to fill 100 roles, I need to fill 50 roles. Why is that? Are we opening a new department? What is the major business need around this, and trying to work towards that goal?
Definitely aligning the things that we do to our core business goals is super important, of course, from a relevance perspective. And of course, there are other best practices here that we can share, such as the fact that going forward, we're seeing a necessity for talent acquisition to work much closer with the rest of the organization, whether it's from an organizational development perspective, working much closer with those of us internally that manage retention and employer branding. There's definite need in terms of talent acquisition, working closer with other partners in HR to ensure a more holistic talent management environment that thrives in this era of uncertainty. Any other best practices that you would share in this space?
So in this point, tearing down HR silos. So as I like to say, we need to bring talent acquisition team together with comms team, together with marketing team, and all of this should be working really together, because we have seen that employer branding helps a lot recruitment, and recruitment can inform employer branding. So we need these teams working together. And in our line of business, we are always trying to bridge the gap between these points. And we do see that companies that have a very close communication between all departments, they do tend to perform better. They do tend to hire faster, reducing costs, and eventually having more profitable results. So definitely tearing down HR silos is my favorite tip out of this list.
Definitely. And of course, when we talk about tearing down silos, and of course, there's been this comment that's said in the past that some of your best next hires are actually already working internally and working within your organization. So going forward, we're going to find, as we will have a discussion next week on the Workplace Learning Report, we're going to find a synergy of our learning platform with our hiring platform, and how those two work together to help you find the best hire, which could be someone coming from outside or someone already internally. But more on that next week. So let's keep you waiting on that one. Let's move over to prediction number 5. So we said there are 6 predictions that we're talking through. We're now talking through prediction number 5. And folks, of course, you have the opportunity, and this is why we have the live streams. You have the opportunity to ask questions, and of course, for us to bring up your questions and your comments on screen as we're doing right now. Thank you very much. I think this is Jason, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, talking, of course, and adding a comment about some of the new benefits and some of the new capabilities that you've heard about on this live stream. So if you have questions, definitely ask. We'll bring them up on screen and we'll do our best to answer them. Now we're at prediction number 5 on how our recruiting teams will need to be the ones leading and advocating for flexible work policies. Tell us more about flexible work policies, especially given that I'm hearing companies are saying people should return back to the office. So what do they mean by flexible work policies here to stay?
So we hear a lot about it, Stuart, but one thing that's for sure is that flexible work is here to stay and demand for flexible work is here to stay. As I said before, we're coming from a very tough time, 2020, COVID times, everyone went remote, and now we're fully back, and a lot of companies are requesting more days in the office. But it's not so much about hybrid work, flexible work, as it is about work-life balance. So it is about companies understanding that sometimes life gets in the way, people need some more flexible arrangements, and it's not just about keeping someone in the office, micromanaging them 24 hours. That doesn't work, and managers have understood this and recruiters know this. So it's all about providing a flexible work environment where there's trust and there's understanding about the way our lives work. So flexible work is here to stay. We do see that those hybrid roles do perform better. So if there is an advice I have for companies and recruiters, and something that they can really try to pass to management, is that we do need to have hybrid roles wherever we can, because that's what the people prefer, and people have understood that this is how their lives work better. So I do believe that's here to stay.
It's here to stay. Well, let's look at prediction number 6 as we're getting close to wrapping it up in terms of our live stream today. Prediction number 6 is that going forward, in order for us to attract, to hire, to engage, and to retain Gen Z in our workplace, we're going to need a different workbook. We're going to need a different playbook in order to do this. What are you finding organizations are doing differently in order to attract and hire and retain Gen Z in the world of work today?
So Gen Z has already started occupying more than the 30% of the workforce at the moment, and it's projected it will be about 50% in the coming years, up to 2030. We have here one of my favorite slides in our presentation that really shows the EVPs for per generation, and you can really see that compensation is one of the most important things, but not just that. Right after that, we have balance. So it's all about that work-life balance we spoke before, that flexibility, flexible work arrangements, whether that's hybrid work, remote work, or any other sort of flexible arrangement, and then advancement. We've seen that Gen Z, and you can see it here, it's the blue line, would be the most likely to leave a job if they feel they're not advancing. And that's why we've seen trends like the resignation, as we're talking about, the high resignation rates, because Gen Z will not just look in the short term, and they're not necessarily looking for job security. They realize that job security is something very uncertain in our times. So they're really looking how to grow within an organization. And really trying to provide these learning opportunities within will help you attract Gen Z as well.
I like that very important slide there in terms of how we go about attracting and retaining our Gen Z, and developmental opportunities are also important. What else would you say is important in terms of engaging this audience of our workforce?
So it's not just about attracting Gen Z, because whether we like it or not, Gen Z is entering the workplace. We'll definitely get our chance to have Gen Z entering the workforce, especially for those entry-level roles. But it's about retaining them as well. And as we said, empathizing with Gen Z's perspectives is so important, really understanding what matters to them. Is it any sort of values that you have within your company that you can highlight? Don't wait and don't make assumptions. Try to be curious about their situation. If you see a Gen Z in your company a bit overwhelmed with their onboarding or any sort of these things, avoid assumptions, ask open-ended questions, and at the end of the day, listen actively and try to see those signs, because it's really about trying to retain that part of the workforce, what's going to make us successful, because it is the generation that's going to bring us to the future.
And here, LinkedIn has definitely gone out to help organizations tell its story. Because what I do know for a fact right now is that if you have a career page on LinkedIn, you are able to give people the option to raise their hands in terms of interest in wanting to work for you. So if you have a presence on LinkedIn that's through a paid subscription, what will happen is that a candidate can come onto your page, see what you're all about as an organization, see the jobs that you have, and if there's a job there that is not aligned to my particular skills, I can still click a button to say, I'm interested in working for your organization in the future. This helps you as recruiters understand those who are most likely to have an interest in wanting to work for us. What's more, on LinkedIn as well, you as an organization can state out your commitments and the things that you are standing for in terms of the things you care about as an organization. Our Gen Z audience, of course, looks for companies with commitments that are similar to the beliefs that they hold themselves. So as an organization, if you're struggling to attract, to engage, and to hire Gen Z, maybe what you could consider is having a career page on LinkedIn that outlines your values, your culture, and shows a little bit more about your employee value proposition. So definitely that's something we can help you with. So that... Sorry, was there something else you wanted to add there?
Yes, I also want to add about these commitments, Stuart. Thank you for mentioning this. So we've seen that Gen Z would choose one company over the other if one company has more profound statements about inclusion, diversity, environmental sustainability, work-life balance, and really if they show how they are pursuing these. So as an organization, if you're thinking how to attract Gen Z and how to retain them, think about all those policies. And sometimes you might have it as an organization, you might have policies in place, you might have programs, but it's just sitting on the back of your website and nobody is even seeing it. So think about the career page, think about posting those things and really showing what the actions you're taking towards all of these commitments. And about the interested button that Stuart mentioned, so you have the chance as a candidate to register your interest for a job, for a company, for future roles. There is a limit to this. Only a candidate can only do it for up to 50 companies. So you know that it's not spam, it's not just candidates click into everything. They really need to cherry pick which companies they want to express their interest for. So if they have expressed their interest for your company, you know it's real and you know that it's someone that's actually interested in working with you.
Definitely. Wow, we've covered quite a lot today in terms of some of the predictions that we have covered. So let's recap some of those predictions that we've covered for you today. And of course, we're still giving you an option to ask questions if you have any questions. This is your time. This live stream is for you. This is where we get the opportunity to help answer some of the questions you might have, as well as give you an opportunity to book time for a one-on-one session with us. So let's recap some of those things that we said will be happening going forward based on LinkedIn's predictions on the future of recruitment. Prediction number one was the fact that AI is going to supercharge the way you go about recruiting and help you save time. Prediction number two, recruitment is going to be more focused on skills because skills solve business problems. And the LinkedIn Recruiter platform helps you identify talent based on skills and not just based on certifications or degrees. Going forward, in terms of how we measure those that we hire and bring into our business, it's going to be a focus on quality. And of course, we're helping you identify the best in quality talent out of the billion members that we have on this platform. As recruitment teams going forward, in a market and a world that is volatile, agility will be required. So even how we pivot and grow skills internally as a recruitment team is important. And of course, our relationships with the rest of the HR organization are equally important. So silos must fall. Recruitment teams must work closer with the rest of the HR team if we're to thrive and survive. Going forward, of course, as recruitment teams, we know what recruiters want, and we know we know candidates are looking for a little bit of flexibility when it comes to work-life balance and looking for jobs and opportunities. So we will take charge as talent acquisition teams in terms of advocating for flexible work policies, as this helps us attract the best in class talent. And speaking of the best in class talent, going forward, we will have a playbook available to us from LinkedIn on how to hire and attract and engage Gen Zs. Where will we get that playbook? We'll get that playbook directly from this live stream that we're watching. So if you are watching, right there on screen right now is a QR code that you can take a quick screen grab of, that will give you access to not only the Future of Recruiting playbook, but it will also give you a preview to our next live stream, which will be on the Workplace Learning Report, talking about what's changing in learning and, of course, what skills people need in the place of work. So this week, we were covering, of course, how you can go about recruiting and elevating your recruiting game. Next week, on the 30th, we'll be talking, of course, specifically about how you can go about developing the talents that you bring in your organization. So here's a call to action, nice and simple for you. Call to action from this live stream, if you don't have questions, is take a screen grab of the QR code that you're seeing on screen right now. And then, of course, use that to access the report and use that to ask for questions and have one-on-one time with us. So thank you very much for those who have been watching so far. There's a lot of people watching. And of course, I know I didn't get to greet every single person that was joining us. Thank you very much for the feedback and some of the comments that we were receiving. Of course, this is what justifies and helps us align on what you want to hear about going forward. Speaking about going forward, like I mentioned, next week on the 30th, we will be having this on Tuesday. We'll be looking at the 2024 Workplace Learning Report. And the Workplace Learning Report looks at the skills that are required in the world of work. Right at the beginning of this session, I did ask a question, and my question was, what is going to be the biggest trend to impact recruitment going forward? I am not seeing people commenting, folks. This is your time to respond. Dimitra, as we close out the show, what is your comment on the world ahead, and maybe some closing remarks based on what you found in the Future of Recruiting report?
So some great points there, Stuart. We mentioned AI, we mentioned agility, we mentioned flexible work arrangements, and then of course Gen Z also revolutionizing the workplace, entering the workplace and changing the way of work. And it's actually the first time, I wanted to highlight this, it's the first time that we have 4 generations working at the same time in the workplace. So it's really the moment to make this work. So I think the biggest strength coming up for me, and the way I see it, is definitely making AI work for us and making AI give us a more inclusive approach, also for recruiters, also for graduates. Everyone using AI has a more fair chance in, accessing the workplace and really touching those points, because it's really the first time we have such a powerful tool in our hands, and we have all these chatbots, we have all of these open source that everyone can access, and we also have these recruitment tools in Recruiter. So it's really there to make your life easier. So I do think that AI will keep impacting recruitment in the near future, and we just need to be agile and really try to adapt to this new landscape.
Definitely, and it looks like you actually have a couple of people that are agreeing with you. Hannah says definitely generative AI is definitely going to impact us going forward. And I think you also have another affirmation coming through from Barbara here, if I've pronounced the name right. She says the use of AI and experimenting with it. And thankfully, of course, being that this is a global platform, LinkedIn is doing most of that heavy lifting for you. So in terms of getting it to perfection or getting AI close to perfection itself, because we're working with multiple recruiters like yourself and multiple people are using the platform is learning and getting better. So don't be afraid to try. Of course, some of the messaging capabilities that have been built into the platform to help you become a better recruiter. But that journey of becoming a better recruiter starts off first and foremost by you formally partnering with LinkedIn. So, have you formally partnered with LinkedIn for your branding, which is having a career page? Have you formally partnered with LinkedIn for your recruitment, which is having paid job slots and having a LinkedIn recruiter license? And have you formally partnered with LinkedIn for your planning and leveraging LinkedIn's talent insights to understand the talent that's out there and how to hire it at scale? These are some of the things that we are here to help you with. These are some of the things that we look forward, once you scan that QR code, to reach out to us so that we can help you on that journey. Thank you very much for all of you who participated and those of you who joined today's live stream, where we were talking, of course, about how to elevate your hiring game. Dimitra, one more word, I believe, as we say goodbye to our audience and play out with an amazing video that will start showing people where we're going with this generative AI search and messaging capabilities. One more word.
I would just like to close with something we briefly mentioned. We have more than 1 billion members at the moment on the platform, more than 65 million job seekers actively join the platform every week. So it's really the place to be now. And I know 4 years ago it would be like, if you're not online, where are you? Now the question is, if you're not on LinkedIn, where are you? So that's really for me. And I would like to close with this. Thank you, Stuart. Thanks to everyone joining from all over the world. Greetings to Greece, my beloved Greece. Greetings to South Africa. Everyone joining from all of the countries, so Nigeria, Kenya. Thank you to everyone, and thanks, Stuart.
No, thank you very much for that. And of course, as we close out, I'll close out with my favorite hashtag. It's time to shine. It's time to shine as the recruiter that you are, bringing in the best talent and leveraging the best tools to identify that talent. It's time to shine as an organization, outlining on the world's largest platform what your values are, what your work experience is like, what your culture is like, and why people work for you. It's time to shine as an organization, attracting the best talent by having your jobs on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for joining us. It's time to shine in your day. I wish you a wonderful, productive, and a healthy day. And as I close this day, or as I close off this live stream, I'm leaving you with how our AI is enabling you to do your jobs better. And I look forward to seeing you on the 30th on Tuesday for our live stream on the Workplace Learning Report. Have a fantastic day, folks. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
LinkedIn's new AI-assisted search and projects is now available in Recruiter. Use it to save time by typing your hiring intent in your own words, and Recruiter will help you set up a project and search for talent. When you're ready to get started, you can type whatever you're looking for into the prompt box and click to choose if you want to create a search or project. Let's see how this works. Use your own words to say what kind of project you'd like to create, and AI-assisted search and projects will automatically populate the template. Since projects are a lot like folders that store all of the work and details for the requisition on Recruiter, starting with a project will give you more relevant recommendations as you source and reach out to candidates. As you create your project, you can view insights of the talent pool and recommendations on the parameters, both in real time. You can also get recommendations about the talent pool and input criteria that best match the talent you're looking for. Once you've added your project details and created your project, all of your input so far will pre-populate your search filters and provide you with a list of candidates who match your search. Use your own words to say what kind of talent you're looking for. Select Start a Search, and a new search will start that automatically populates the filters to find the talent you're looking for. You can scroll and see all of your interactions on this project so far and request for updates. You can also ask for specific filters to be added or removed. Filters you can ask to change are You won't be able to refine by race, gender, nationality, sexuality, or age, as these are not supported by Recruiter. You'll also receive smart recommendations as you engage with the chat experience that suggest ways to tighten your search to help you find the right candidates. For example, you may receive a nudge to expand your search with suggestions like, add the top locations in the United States where this talent is available. Or you may be encouraged to tighten your talent pool with recommendations like, limit the talent pool to people at companies who you win talent from. You can also ask for recommendations and insights on the talent pool, helping to make your sourcing efforts even more strategic and impactful. AI-assisted search and projects is here to assist you, so don't hesitate to get creative. It will interpret your inputs to deliver what you need. And if you want to do things the old way, you can. Either manually adjust the filters input by AI, add keywords or Boolean searches, or manually create searches and projects from scratch. AI in Recruiter assists you in optimizing your searches, but doesn't take away the things that you love to use. LinkedIn's AI-assisted search and projects brings the power of Gen AI to LinkedIn Recruiter. With the ability to create searches and projects in your own words and to ask for insights and recommendations, AI-assisted search and projects opens the door to help you find qualified talent even faster. For more resources like this, check out our customer guide at the link below.